All right, today we're going to head deep into the Himalayan foothills to unpack a really beautiful story by Ruskin Bond called The School Among the Pines. In this explainer, we're going to follow a group of kids whose simple, everyday walk to school turns into this incredible journey through a world where nature and, well, human progress are about to collide. So the story kicks off with this incredibly powerful image. You've got this leopard, totally unseen, sharing the exact same space as three children walking down a forest path. Right from the get-go, Bond shows us the immense beauty of nature, but also this quiet underlying tension. It's a world of peace and potential danger all at the same time. You know, the heart of the story really begins with something super simple, the long walk to school. But this journey, it isn't just a commute. It's the very thread that connects our characters to each other and, as we'll see, to the changing world all around them. So let's meet our guides on this walk. First up is Bina. She's new to the naughty school, has a gentle face but a really determined spirit. She's with her younger brother, Sonu. And then there's Prakash, their neighbor who knows these paths like the back of his hand. He's kind of the rascal of the group, already repeating a year in school and telling his parents, hey, what's the hurry? This is the song they sing, a little chant passed down from their grandparents. And it's so much more than just a tune. It's a measure of their incredible resilience. I mean, can you even imagine a daily commute that involves crossing rivers and passing mountains? For them, it's just life, and they've put it to a song. Now, once they actually get to the school, the children's world is shaped by two very, very different teachers. And their contrast really highlights one of the story's biggest themes, a world that's caught right between tradition and modernity. And this generational gap, it's huge. On one side, you've got Mr. Mani, the classic, kind of absent-minded village teacher whose biggest worry in life is his potato patch. And then on the other, there's Miss Ramola. She's young, modern, and she's actually seen big cities like Delhi. She's their connection to this wider, changing world they've only ever read about in books. So early on, the whole village just gets thrown into a panic. Mr. Money vanishes. And of course, rumors start flying that the leopard has finally claimed a human victim. And the evidence? Get this. A little strip of his red pajamas caught on a bush. But of course, he eventually turns up perfectly fine. He'd just gotten lost on his walk and admits his pajamas were probably just blown off the washing line. You really get a sense of Mr. Mani's whole personality when he declares war on the porcupines that are eating his potatoes. So his students, led by Prakash, they come up with this grand plan. Let's build a moat. They actually dig a ditch and divert a stream, and believe it or not, it works. The porcupines stay away. The only little problem? It works a little too well and ends up flooding the entire field and trapping poor Mr. Mani inside his own house. It's just this charming mix of good intentions and hilarious results that really defines their life at school. But, you know, beyond these charming schoolyard antics, there's a much larger story unfolding in the background. And this is where the children's small, predictable world starts to feel the pressure of this massive external change. The school takes a field trip. It's actually Bina's first time ever on a bus to see the huge Tehri Dam that's being built. And amidst all the arguments between Mr. Mani and Miss Ramola about whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, Bina asks this really simple but totally profound question that just cuts through all the noise. What's going to happen to the animals? And her question, it gets right to the heart of the whole thing. The construction involves literally blasting mountains apart. The ancient town of Tehri and hundreds of villages are just going to disappear underwater. Thousands of people are being forced to move. And, this is the crucial part for our story, the animals are being pushed out of their homes, forcing them closer and closer to humans. This line is just so powerful. As Bina is looking out over the valley, she has no idea that the very same leopard from the beginning of the story is there for one reason. It's got nowhere else to go. The natural balance has been completely broken, and the consequences are slowly making their way right towards the children's path. Okay, and this is where the whole story pivots. That distant threat, it's about to become very, very real. The tension that's been simmering this whole time is ready to boil over. The danger isn't just an idea anymore. First, it's just rumors, whispers. Then they find physical evidence of a kill right near their path. Then a postman straight up warns them to be careful. You can feel this sense of encroachment just getting stronger and stronger. And then nature itself steps in. A big monsoon landslide completely wipes out their path to school. And because he's so resourceful, Prakash finds a new way, a little goat track around the mountain.
But this new path, it adds another mile to their walk, and it takes them dangerously close to where that displaced leopard has made its new home.
And this is the moment. They come around a bend, and there it is. Not a rumor, not a story, but a powerful, real creature blocking their path. And they're just frozen, too terrified to even think about running. For a few heart-stopping seconds, these two worlds, the human and the animal, just stare each other down. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, the leopard leaps away into the forest.
That terrifying moment could have just ended in fear, but instead it opens the door to something much deeper, an understanding and a sense of hope, not just for the wild, but for the village too.
That fear, it doesn't paralyze them. In fact, just a few days after that terrifying encounter, they're back on the path, and they spot the leopard once more. But this time, it's from a safe distance, up on a rocky ledge above them, just watching. And what they see in that moment changes absolutely everything. The leopard isn't alone. Standing right beside her, outlined against the sky, are two tiny little cubs.
And it just clicks for Binna. In that one moment, she understands. The leopard isn't a monster. It's not just a cattle killer. It's a mother, pushed into a corner, doing whatever she has to do to provide for her family. The exact same instinct that drives their own parents.
And with that realization, all the fear is replaced by this profound understanding. They're not just invaders in her world, and she isn't just a threat in theirs. As Binna puts it so simply, there's still room for all of them. That's coexistence.
And at the same time, another kind of hope is literally blooming back in the village. Mr. Mani, who ended up trading his potatoes for dahlia bulbs, has his very first success. It's this huge, magnificent red dahlia. The entire village comes to see it. It's a symbol of renewal, of finding beauty and joy even when the world around you is changing.
The story ends with the children walking home, singing their song as the leopard listens from a distance before continuing her hunt. And it leaves us with this really vital question, doesn't it? It's not about stopping change, but about navigating it with empathy and understanding. So in our own worlds, with our own dams and our own displaced lives, how do we make sure there's still room for everyone?